to my kitchen. Paula here, and this is my channel, The Flavorful Home. Today, we are going to make chicken marsala. Maybe you have had it in an Italian restaurant and thought, this one is just too complicated to make at home. No it isn't. I think the toughest part is cutting that cutlet and pounding it thin. Otherwise, chicken marsala is a delightfully delicious dish. And we're gonna make it right now. Let's go. Alrighty friends, I know I've shown you before about trimming up chicken breast. We call them chicken cutlets. That's just what we always called them. I get rid of all this yucky junk. I would save it for my dog, but he's been getting ear infections and we don't know if it's because he's having a little bit of allergy issues. So no chicken for him until we get to the bottom of that. But I just take all this off, and then you just, because this is thick, I go right, and I keep my hand on it, and I go right down the middle of it. And you get two. We'll cut one more, and then we'll tap one out. By the way, that's, if you hear hissing and bubbling, that's my canner in the background. I have homemade beef stock in my pressure canner. Again, hand flat and right down. And there you go. And two pieces. Okay, I'm going to get us set up for tapping it. This is easy peasy, friends. Got my mallet, but don't use the tenderizing side. Use the flat side. And if you don't have a mallet, you could use a rolling pin if it's heavy enough, or a can, or even a handled pot so you can bang. But I just put my plastic wrap down. I take my cutlet, cover it, and just, you don't want it excessively thin, but get a little spread in that. And that looks good. Move on to the next one. Okay. I got my ear on my weighted jiggler as my broth. Pressure canned. You see that? It spreads easy. The jiggler has to look like a hula dancer. I like canning. Your own food tastes better than anything you buy off a shelf. And there you go. I think I'm going to cut these again because some of them are big and you don't need such big ones. Excuse me. Okay. I'll do one more and then I will finish up, because pounding chicken I don't think is very exciting. hold it up. Here's one that's unpounded, and you could see the difference. All right, I'll finish these up, and then we'll get into just what goes into chicken marsala. All right, friends, we're back for the chicken marsala extravaganza. I am actually prepping this for my husband's 60th birthday party on Saturday. We're having chicken marsala, baked ziti, sausage and peppers, eggplant parmesan. And so I have a lot of cooking to get done. This is the bulk of what you need. You have the chicken cutlets, pounded, cut, heavy cream, salt and pepper, unsalted butter, chicken broth. I just use this. Mushrooms that will be sliced. Dry Marsala wine, olive oil, my dredging containers. I got 3 eggs, flour. I water them down. I never just scramble up the eggs straight up. I add water. It thins them out, stretches them a bit. And let me just get you situated. I'm not giving exact amounts yet. I'll do that as we get going. But I want to get my pan heated up, and I will put about 3 tablespoons of the unsalted butter into my pan, which is here. Get that on. And about the same amount of olive oil. So in that goes. And hush now, Violet. She's being scutchy. Okay, we'll just lower that, let that melt, and we'll come back here and start prepping cutlets. Alexa, stop. That's my bread. 1 second, folks. Let me get my bread kneaded, and then I'll come back and get this going. Alrighty. Unfortunately, you're going to hear her going off because I have baguettes and rolls rising. So I'm juggling several things at once here, but that's okay. So you always salt and pepper your cutlet, pack it with the flavor. Get them covered nicely. And then we move to the dredging station. I'm going to move it down here. This is a nifty little gadget I got from, what is that, pantry? Whatever that catalog party thing. Pampered Chef, not Pantry Chef, Pampered. Give it a dip. Let it drip into the flour. Give it a nice covering, smash it in there. You could hear the oil and the butter Shake it off. And I'm going to just move you, and into the pan it goes. Pump it up a little now. And let's do number 2. You get about 3 minutes on each side. Flip it over. We'll do these 3, and it's boring, so I'm not going to bore you. Once I have a few of them in the pan, I'll bring you over to the pan so you can see what that looks like. And that one goes in for the bath. I will tell you, this is from Lydia. I don't want to say it's 100% her recipe, because as I cook, I alter and I make things my own, but the base of it is Lydia Bastianich. And I will put the recipe in the description box, and I will share a link to the cookbook I got it from. Shake that excess off, and into the pan it goes. Alrighty folks, I'm going to get these going, and then when we're ready to turn, I'll bring you back so that you can see what browning I'm looking for. Okay, this is what you're looking for as far as browning. You don't want too much. You want it on the lighter side. Alexa, stop. And after, this one's a little browner than I would normally do. After they're done, I'll be transferring them to my cookie sheet lined with paper towels. To drain. Alrighty folks, we're going to keep the machine rolling here. When all are browned, we'll come back. Okay friends, we're back. All my cutlets are cooked. We got a boatload of cutlets. Next up is mushrooms. We got lots of sliced mushrooms here. I bought them whole from Costco, and hubby sliced them for me. Now I have some shallots here, but I also did some onion and garlic, because a substitute for shallot can be a bit of onion and garlic. It's supposedly very similar in taste profile. So that's what I did. I have my pan heating up, because first we are going to brown up, or I should say cook up, the mushrooms. I'm going to move you here. That's the butter. We have a little bit of oil, olive oil, in there. I'm going to put in, it's probably about 2 tablespoons of, this is still unsalted. And I'm going to be honest with you, you can use salted butter if you choose. I'm just following the recipe. I often do that just for the sake of, I guess, the integrity of the recipe. But it really is not necessary. If all you have is salted butter in the house, go for it. Now you're gonna add the mushrooms. Okay. I'm gonna get these going because it's gonna take a while. I don't know that I'm gonna use all of them. It is a lot of mushrooms. But use salt and pepper. I have the fussiest pepper grinder. Sometimes it's fine grind. Other times it's big chunks of peppers. Mamma mia, come on, Mama. Okay, and salt. 90% of the time, I'm using kosher salt. I will sometimes use sea or Himalayan, but I mostly use kosher. And you see, I just did 2 pinchy handfuls. The only thing I really am rigid with my measurements is baking, because that's a science. Cooking, I fly by the seat of my pants and my taste buds. That's just how I've always done it. And once you add salt, your mushrooms will start to release their liquid. But you want these to cook down nicely. You don't want them so hydrated, or raw, I should say. I'm probably going to use my other giant pan like this, because that is a lot of chicken cutlet. And so I'm going to break it up into 2. And I like a lot of juice. I like my Marsala saucy. There's nothing like a saucy Marsala that you could sop up with your chicken, and if you choose to serve it with rice or bow tie farfalle pasta, or just for dipping bread. It's wonderful. I'm going to let these cook. When they're done, we'll come back. You can see it has cooked down nicely. I also added my shallots and onion and garlic. I seasoned with the salt and pepper. It had a lot of liquid that has evaporated. Now I'm going to add my dry Marsala wine. It's about 2/3 of a cup. You're going to let that cook down. I will adjust it as necessary. If it needs a little more Marsala, I'll add that. But we'll just let this cook for a bit, and then we'll come back. Okay, it is cooked down, and it smells marvelous. I'm going in, this is 2 cups of the bouillon. I'm going to start with a cup of it and just let it cook a bit, bubble up. Get a little bit of a boil going. And then I am going to transfer into that pan, and I'm quite sure I will be adding more broth to it. But those mushrooms look beautiful, and oh, if only there was smell-o-vision. It is divine, to say the least. Good stuff, friends. Here we go. It's coming up to the boil. First, I'm going to remove this because the splat factor is gone. And I'm going to start to transfer it into that looks even. Actually, I'll put a little bit more back in there. All right. And then we'll add this remaining into my other pan. And as that gets going, once it has a nice consistency, it'll just cook down a little bit more. We're going to add butter to it, and I'll adjust any liquid that might be needed, and we'll be back in a little bit. Okay, this looks perfect to me, so I'm going to add, that's probably 2 tablespoons of butter. Just get that all in there. This is a favorite dish of the family. They love chicken marsala. And it's not hard to make at all. Obviously, you don't need to make this amount. This is a party amount, not a family of 4 or 5 amount. And then you just tuck your chicken in. And I'm going to add more broth to it, because these chickens are going to suck it up quick. And the flour on the chicken is also going to thicken up the juice. We'll get you over here. I'll throw the other tablespoon of the butter in. Here you go. That tastes wonderful. You always want to check your seasoning. And let's get this pan Alrighty friends, I'm gonna get my chicken tucked in. I'm going to adjust my liquid factor, and I'm going to just let this cook for a bit. And when this dish is done, I'll show you how it looks. This is obviously turning into several day video because I'm doing things over a time period. So when this is all finished, we'll be back. Okay friends, when you're going to finish off the Marsala, you're just going to add a little dab of heavy cream. As you could see, it's not much at all, maybe a third of a cup, and you just kind of, let me get my pot holder, and you just give it a little swirl. You taste it for any extra seasoning that it might need. Oh my gosh, guys, I don't know how to explain how good this tastes. It is so delicious. It was a big hit at my husband's birthday on Saturday. Everyone who ate it was blown away. You'll want to make this, I promise. I'm also, now I had so much food left that I'm doing the remaining of the chicken marsala and fettuccine alfredo. When it's plated, I'll show you. And here it is, saucy mushroom marsala juiciness, along with lovely fettuccine alfredo. That is a delicious dish. I will put a link to the cookbook I got it from Lydia, and I will also see if I can find an actual printout of the recipe that I can just cut and paste into the description. This dish is easy, divine, a total crowd-pleasing, off-the-chart, delicious meal. Give it a go. Thank you, friends. Give it a whirl. Create something wonderful. Until next time.